Hey everybody, I'm Bill, the Hill Country Prepper, and I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. I saw on the news this morning this story out of Virginia with all these motorists and truckers and everybody that's been stranded on Interstate 95 because of this massive snowstorm that hit up in that area. And it reminded me when I lived up in Nebraska. I lived in southwest Nebraska, really about 60 miles from anywhere. I lived in a small town, rural community surrounded by farmland. And we would get snowstorms every year. You count on it. It was wintertime in the western plains of Nebraska. You're going to get snow. And we always, everybody that I knew, took precautions every winter by making sure that they had items with them in their vehicle, either in the trunk or under their seat, in their glove box. They had it in their vehicle. Now the things that they had and that I carried as well, and I still here in my truck in Texas, I still carry supplies under the back seat here. Now, what we had as far as winter protection or winter self-preservation items, we always had a blanket or two. And the reason being is that you never knew when you might slide off the road, get caught in a drift, be out on a back road somewhere. And yeah, when I was younger, I used to hit the back roads quite a bit, but we won't get into that right now. Main point is everybody always carried a blanket or two, and I mean a heavy blanket. I don't mean just like some little short, small crochet throw. I had a big, full-length, heavy blanket that I kept in my vehicle at all times. In fact, I'd even use it at the summertime when I'd go to beach, shake it out, throw it back in there, and I'd have it for the wintertime. Yeah, they have beaches in southwest Nebraska. They're at the reservoirs at the lakes. But anyway, that's another story as well. Got to have blankets in the vehicle. Something else we used to keep, and I would keep a few of these on hand, just regular old candles. You can get like those big decorative candles. Sometimes they'd be scented, most times they wouldn't be, but you want to keep a couple of candles in your car, and a lighter or a book of matches, preferably both. And the reason behind that is that if you did get caught inside a drift, where you're alone overnight, you can light that candle and it will provide heat. Of course, you want some ventilation. You want to crack the window just a little bit, enough to get some ventilation in there. But that little candle, believe it or not, will provide some heat for you. So having a candle on hand was always very, very important, along with the blankets. Now, we also used to carry a couple bottles of water. I can't remember the exact quantity I had, maybe 3 or 4 of those, small 20-ounce disposable bottles. But we would always have water in the vehicle, and to this day, I still carry water in my vehicle. I always have water. Again, there in the back seat compartment, I've got bottles of water. Change them out quite a bit. I'll drink one, replace it with a fresh one. Up there's the same type of deal. Always kept water in the vehicle. And that was year round. That was summer, winter, spring, and fall. Always had water. Also had something to eat. Now, I still keep food in this vehicle as well. Again, I'm rotating it out. We're notorious when we go on a road trip with a family. We pack a lot of food with us, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about snacks for the road. I'm talking about having protein bars, granola bars. Sometimes I'll even put some canned fruit in here. Again, the main thing is you got to keep rotating it out. Now up there, I didn't put so much canned food in during the winter time because, yeah, it would freeze and it would drop down to a hard freeze. In fact, the day that I moved away from Nebraska, it was 20 below. And that was in the middle of the daytime with the sun shining. It was 20 below. So yeah, you get real hard freezes up there. So I wouldn't so much keep canned goods, but I would keep snack bars, candy bars, stuff like that, so that at least you've got something that in need, in the time of an emergency, you would have something to eat, something to drink, something to keep yourself warm with the blankets and the candles. I suppose you could even use sternos if you wanted to use those instead. Of course, you got to be safe with them. You don't want to catch yourself on fire. But food, water, heat sources, a way to keep yourself warm. And you always want to have a first aid kit in your vehicle. I've got a first aid kit in the back seat again, where I've got a jacket, I've got some tools, I've got some other miscellaneous supplies. Same thing. I did the same thing when I lived in southwest Nebraska, as I kept a small first aid kit. Had some analgesics, had some band-aids, had some bandages, stuff like that. Just your basic first aid kit. You always want to have a first aid kit in your car. Back then we didn't have cell phones, so there wasn't a means of communication, but I did always have a flashlight available of some types, one or two small little pin lights that I could just toss in the glove compartment box and have it there. And again, you got to keep the batteries fresh, you got to keep rotating. But then I was always out doing stuff in the evenings on the back country roads, so a lot of times I used my flashlight, so that wasn't a problem. That was necessary because when you're in a drift, you're not going to be able to keep your car running. It's going to get dark. You don't want to run your battery down by running the dome lights. So you need to have a flashlight with you, and plus you can also use it to signal. That's what I was saying. We didn't have cell phones back then, but I did have a flashlight that if I did see a light from somebody up on the road, I could just flicker my light and hopefully they would see me. That's why it's important to always have a flashlight in your vehicle. I really feel bad about these guys up there in Virginia, and I know what it's like to be cold, and I know what it's like to be stuck in the snow. And it's a helpless feeling. So, but it does give you a little bit of comfort if you have prepared, and you've got a way to keep yourself warm. You got a way to keep yourself hydrated. You got something to snack on. Even a little Snickers bar when you're in a distressful situation can really make a world of difference. Trust me, it can. And having that flashlight, and now of course you got your cell phones. You want to have your cell phone charger with you at all times, so you're able to keep that communicated. Now, I'm fortunate now, I've got OnStar in this vehicle. I've also got Wi-Fi through that, so if something were to happen and I were to get stranded in this vehicle, I feel pretty confident that I could be able to reach somebody on the outside. There are places here in Texas where they do not have cell service, believe it or not. My bug out location does not have cell service, but I can press my OnStar button. I can access Wi-Fi through the OnStar. I'm able to get a hold of somebody in case there is an emergency, and that's why I keep it. When I'm out there, I'm isolated, and if there were to be an emergency, I'm about 45 miles from the nearest hospital. So it's important to me to have that OnStar, to have that means of communication. And if you have an opportunity to have something like that in your vehicle, and you live in one of these areas that's prone for winter storms, it's probably a good idea to maybe take advantage of it. Anyway, guys, I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. If you got some help out of this video, why don't you go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified each and every time I upload some new content. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. You guys have a blessed day. Thanks.